We have Hefeweizen. This must be for Fox. You want me to bring it over to you?
Sure.
I'll bring it over to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is Fox Amore. And this is a bottle of sake. It is one of my favorite beverages. Japan's alcoholic beverage of choice. Yesterday, Neil Van Me and B.T. Werwolf took Ronnie and I out to a sake store that is here in Berlin. And while we were there, it was decided that B.T. Werwolf would run down to a corner grocery store that was just around the corner, and he would get a cooler bag and ice. And he did so. And we picked out our bottles of sake, and this was one of them. I promised to save it and drink it with them, but I can't wait anymore. Sorry, guys. Excuse me a moment. Well, it seems I'll just have to finish it. Okay. So we bought our bottles and we waited for wonderful B.T. Werwolf to get back. And he wasn't coming back. And he wasn't coming back. And he wasn't coming back. And we started to get worried. We didn't have an internet access, so we could get him on telegraph. And the lady running the store said, well, are you gentlemen waiting for something? We said, yes, we're waiting for our friend. He's gone to the corner store to get a cold bag and some ice. And she looked at us and she said, there's no corner store in that direction. Oh, well, what's in that direction? She said, nothing. B.T. Werwolf was gone for nearly an hour. Dedicated man that he is, he kept going until he found a corner store. That's what I love about Germans. They give you their word and oh boy. Alright, where's that lovely list of story titles that I had here? I put it somewhere. What is this? And that's this. What's this? Oh, Jesus, I don't want that. What? No. If you don't know what this is, good. Yeah, we're not going to talk too much about that. This show also may run a little long. Speaking of, did I leave my paper back there, stagehand? It's lying on that table? Oh, maybe I didn't bring it at all. I'll just have to make things up. No, but I already know what sort of stories I want to tell. I kind of wish that Easy Wolf was here, because I could really use an easy cool-down vest right now. I don't know about the rest of you, but yeah. Oh, it is back there, excuse me. Thank you, stagehand. This is last year's list. I'll wing it. Easy Wolf came to Amphicon and he brought the Easy cool-down vest with him a couple of years ago, and I was very, very happy to see that because we also have our convention in a warm summer month. We saved a lot of fursuiters' lives. 2 years ago at Amphicon, a lot of things happened, and those of you may not know, I'm the chairman of Amphicon, and I'm usually the one who's responsible for things when they don't work. That's the chairman's job. So, oh hi. Don't let her leave the room when we're done. Excuse me. Everybody was having a bad year in 2016, or 2017. It was 2017, I guess now. Getting a little feedback here, guys. I'm going to go back here. Easy Wolf, for example, was shipping his Easy cool-down vests over, and he was pacing the floor waiting for them to arrive, and it was getting close to the opening of the dealer's room. And I went to see him, and he told me that his cool-down vests, he knew that they were coming, but they hadn't been delivered. And I said, I feel your pain, brother. I'm in the same situation. You see, somebody at Anthrocon had a brilliant idea, since our theme was a baseball theme, to order custom-made baseball shirts for our super sponsors. And you can get them very, very cheaply in China. We'll do that. What could go wrong? A week before the convention, the local supplier called up and said, there's going to be a small delay getting you your shirts. And I said, how small a delay? And she said, 5 days. I said, okay, that still gives you a buffer of 2 days to live, if necessary. 2 days before the convention, she called up and said, they're probably being shipped today. I said, okay, let me explain something to you. There's going to be about 400 people out there wanting their shirts. And when they don't get their shirts, they're going to come after me, and they're going to say, who's responsible? And I'm going to bring them all to your shop. She called me later that day and said, okay, they shipped. I said, lovely. And the next morning, 1 day before the convention, I didn't have my shirts. So I called her up and I said, where are my shirts? She said, oh, well, they've left the supplier and they're on their way. And I said, where are they now? She said, Tokyo. I said, that's nice. I've always wanted to go there myself. Maybe I should have been with the shirts. Tokyo. She said, well, they're going through Haneda Airport. Okay. The next morning, I didn't have my shirts. And I called the lady, and I got her voicemail. But then I got a phone call on my little handy here from FedEx saying, this is FedEx. Is this Anthrocon? I said, yes, I am Anthrocon. That's who I am. Yes, that's me. She said, we have an international shipment coming, but it can't clear customs. I said, why? She said, we don't have your federal identification number from the U.S. government. I said, well, that's easy. Here it is. And I rattled off the number. It's 9 digits. I put it on the forms every year. Rattle, rattle, rattle. Off the number came. She said, thank you very much. And I hung up. 5 minutes later, she called back. Hello, I said. She said, that's not your federal identification number. I said, yes, it is. We can disagree on this for a long time, but let's just cut to the chase. That is our federal identification number. And she said, well, according to the federal records, it is not. It belongs to a different corporation. And I said, what? Okay, let's back up for a moment here. In about an hour, I'm going to have 400 very angry people wanting their shirts, and they're going to come to me and they're going to say, who's responsible? And I'm going to drive into your office. And she said, but I'm telling you, when we put the number into the system, it comes up with not Anthrocon. So I said, let me call our Internal Revenue Service. They handle these things. Now, I know it's different in Germany. I know that in Germany, if you call up a government office, you immediately are connected with a live human being who can help you very efficiently. It's not the same in my country. In my country, you get put on hold, and they play, we call it Muzak. It's this watered down, I don't know what they do. They were playing the Muzak version of Inagata Davida. Yeah. But the Muzak version. Just like that, yes. I was on hold for an hour. That lady called and answered the phone. She said, "Yo, this here's the IRS. How can I help you?" I liked her already. I said, "I need help. This is the people tax ID. I need my identification number." They said it's not, but I say it is. Help me. What do I do? She said, "What's the number?" And I rattled off the number. And she went tappity tapping. She said, "Anthrocon?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Yes, that's your number. Bye." I said, wait. I need you to send me something that I can send to FedEx so I can get my shirts. And I need them today. She said, "Oh, okay. I will send you a form. What is your fax number?" I said, "Fax? Miss, this is 2017. I don't think I remember what that is. Can't you email it to me?" And she said, "Oh no, the U.S. government doesn't use email, we only use faxes." And I said, "Well, that certainly explains a whole fucking lot, doesn't it?" So I ran downstairs to the convention center's front office. There was a lady at the desk, and I ran in and I said, "Excuse me, lady at the desk, I need the fax number." And she said, "Fax?" I said, I know. She said, "I don't think we have one." I said, "Well, somebody has." Oh, wait, there were business cards there, and there was a fax number on the business cards. So I rattled the number off to the lady. "Here, this is the fax number. Please fax the letter to me." She said, "Okay, I will. Thank you." And she hung up. And the lady at the desk said, "I don't think we have a fax machine." I said, "Well, why is the number on these cards?" She said, "Well, it costs money to get new cards." But then, you have to be my age to recognize that sound. I heard a modem starting to squeal. Can you do that? Thank God. Please don't. It's that sound. I said to the lady, "Where's that coming from?" She said, "I don't know. I've never heard it before." I said, "Okay, follow me. Listen. Okay, wait, keep listening." And we went into the office areas. It's getting louder. It's coming from this direction. There was a cubicle that obviously had not been used in a long time. It was filled with boxes. And I started throwing the boxes aside. Dust was flying everywhere. And underneath the boxes was an ancient fax machine where the light had come on for the first time in 37 years. Saying receiving. So I took that letter and I said to the convention center lady, "I need you to scan this into a PDF so I can send it to FedEx." I know they use email. She scanned it, and I called up the lady at FedEx. I said, "Okay, here is a letter coming to you. It says, dear FedEx, this is Anthrocon's ID number. Love, the United States government." And I stayed on the phone with her, and while I heard her going tappity, tappity, tappity on her email, thank God I didn't hear a modem. And she said, "Oh, apparently that is your tax ID number. I'll put it in the system and I'll update it." I said, "So the shipment will be released?" She said, "Yes, it will be there before noon." I said, thank you. "Oh, you don't know how happy you made me." She said, "That's good. We aim to please. Your A's cool-down vest will be there in about 2 hours." I said, "Wait, my what?" She said, your EZ cool-down vests? I said, is that by chance EZ cool-down vests? And she said, well, yes, that's what you were waiting for, isn't it? And I said, yes. There's not another shipment, is there? She said, no. I said, then that's all I was expecting. And I went down to the dealer's room, and there was poor Easy Wolf, walking in a circle, pulling at his hair and looking very upset. And I went to him and I said, because I speak a little Dutch, and he's Dutch. That's Dutch. That's the sign language for Dutch. It is. They're that tall in case the dike breaks. Then we'll be able to... I went up to him and I said, having a problem? And he said, yes, I don't know where the easy cool-down vests are. And I said, they have just been released by customs. FedEx is bringing them in about 2 hours. I cleared them through customs for you. You owe me 6 cases of wine and a blowjob, boy. Not here so I could confront him, because even today I have not yet received my 6 cases of wine. People who run conventions often have to deal with strange situations. And tomorrow, if you look at your amazing schedule, I believe the Convention War Stories panel will be a place where you can hear what goes on behind the scenes. But since I'm on stage and I have alcohol, I think I'll tell you a few of mine. But since I don't want to get anybody in trouble, I'll tell you something that happened at somebody else's convention. How's that? Vernal Equinox in Canada. It's in Toronto, I'm sorry. It's in Toronto, and it's just filled with Canadians. You cannot sling a dead cat without hitting a Canadian in that convention, believe me. One of their security guys came up to me, and he said, hey, Uncle Kage, buddy, I got a convention war story for you, eh? I won't keep doing the Canadian accent, I know it's annoying. Oh, well, thank you very much, buddy. So, I said, oh, do tell. I like to hear other people's war stories. He said, we just had a security report at the dealer's room. A young lady, very upset, very nervous, came up to the guy at the front, and she said, there's a really creepy guy in the dealer's room. And he said, miss, you're going to have to be a little more specific than that. And she said, he's wearing a bathrobe. And the guy said, well, oh, okay, but, you know, that could be part of a costume. Just because he's wearing a bathrobe doesn't make him creepy. And she said, oh, but he is creepy. Have you ever seen The Addams Family? And he said, yes. And she said, do you know what Uncle Fester looks like? And he said, yes. She said, he looks just like him in a bathrobe. And the guy pulled out his phone and said, excuse me, is this the man? She said, yes, that's him. He said, it's okay, miss, you can relax. That's not a bathrobe, that's a lab coat. The sad part is, all of my stories are true. I don't have to make these up. She had to pick Uncle Fester. She couldn't say Curly Howard or Benny Hill or somebody cheery like that. She had to pick Uncle Fester over. Here's the problem I got here. I got a whole list of stories to tell, but they all involve somebody who is in a position to retaliate. And I'm not sure if I should. I guess it's only fair because she's gonna anyway. Ronnie came to visit me in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we went to the Raleigh Wine Festival, of course, and my mother wanted to go. So she came along to the wine festival with us. It was a very warm day, and it was a very large crowd outdoors. They had set up various booths, various stations, little tents and things where the wine companies were offering their wine for tasting. Pardon me? They weren't doing it right. They were not doing it right because what they were doing was they were pouring, you know, this much wine, and what the hell's the point of that? And they would pour for 2 people in the front of the line. They would just pour a little bit, and they would taste it. And you ever seen wine tasters? They always do this bullshit. And then they would pour them another wine, and another. They'd go through all the wines with just these 2 people in the front. And it was taking a huge long time. There's a massive queue had built up. And I was starting to get worried because, oh, poor, frail, dainty, gentle old lady, it's a warm day, she's on her feet. I as her son, must see to her comfort. So I said, I'm going to go see if I can find her a chair. And I started to walk away. And I heard a shout of warning from Ronnie. And when I turned around, my mother had taken her cane, and she was whipping people with it. Old lady coming through, out of the way, old lady, get out of the way, one side, old lady coming through. I went, oh my, I was running through the crowd. I'm so sorry. Mom, I apologize. I'm really sorry. My mother's living. Just stop that, Mom. Oh, I'm really sorry. She got up to the front, and she got there, and she turned around and she said, everybody give me your glasses. Everybody, put your glasses down. Put your glasses. Let me show you how to do this. There. And it worked. She taught them something new that day. I still view my beloved mother as a dainty, delicate flower. And I think I'm alone. I always am looking after her. I want to make sure everything is okay. I get very worried if something might not be okay, because I want to stay in the will. But 2 or maybe 3 years ago, here at Eurofurence, I believe it was the first year that my mother was here without the company of my late beloved father. And I was concerned. And Mom came up to me on her little scooter, the one that goes 50 kilometers an hour and has the Mercedes-Benz logo on it. And she said, could you come up to my room tonight at about 8 o'clock? I said, okay. I thought maybe she needed help taking off her necklace, or she needed her strong, strapping son's assistance. Yes, I will come up there and I will help you. At 8 o'clock, on the dot, I stepped out of the lift. And I saw what at first I thought was the hallway filled with smoke. And I looked down the hall, and I saw that familiar little scooter that does 50 kilometers an hour with the Mercedes-Benz logo on it, sitting outside outside a room. The door was open. There was fog pouring out of the room and laser lights cutting through it and music going... And I went into the room. I guess I could say my worst fears were realized. She did need my assistance, but she didn't want it. I stayed there maybe 20 minutes. I don't like this, you kids with your raving lasers and your fog and all that stuff. That's not real music. So about 20 minutes later, I said, okay, I've had enough. I'm going back to my room. And when I went to the lift, because that music was loud, the entire floor was shaking. When I went to the lift, the doors opened, and there was Dari and one of his companions. Dari face. He came down, he went. Dari's companion went. Fine, it's fine, fine, it's fine. Oh, she's busted now. The next morning, I saw her sitting at breakfast in the lobby, and I went up and I said, so, I couldn't help seeing Eurofurence security going to your room last night. And she said, oh yes, they stayed about 2 hours. This is such good stuff. I guess I can tell that. The lady is almost fearless. But there's one thing that you never want to mess with her about. I had invited a friend of mine, Talon. He is on Anthrocon's stuff crew. That's what we call our logistics crew. Because logistics is too long a word, and since they move stuff, we call them the stuff crew. Talon came up, and I had gone to the sake store in my hometown and gotten a lot of sake, and we were very much into it. When my phone rang, and I saw Mom. Okay, this could be a problem. Maybe she got busted again. I said yes, and I knew immediately something was wrong. Because she was crying, she was breathing fast, she was upset. I said, Mom, what's wrong? And she said, there's a rat in my laundry room. I said, Mom, do you have fursuiters over there again? She said, no, it's a rat, a filthy rat. I said, all right, we're coming down. And I said to Talon, let's go. We were really into the sake that night. I'm still not 100% sure how we got to her place. We might have gone to a few other places first. But I used to work with wild birds of prey, and I still had the big, heavy gloves that one has to use when dealing with these animals. So I brought those along. And we went in. Mom was, she was absolutely beside herself. She was terrified. She kept pointing, it's a rat, it's an awful, ugly, dirty, smelly rat. And I looked, she has a little closet where her laundry is, a washing machine and a dryer. I looked inside and I said, Mom, I don't see any rat in here. She said, it's under the washing machine. All right, okay. Talon, give me a hand here, all right. And I looked down, and I saw 2 orange points of light. And I stood up and I said, whoa, Mom, there's a rat in your laundry room. She said, I know, that's what I've been trying to tell you. I said, okay, Talon, give me the gloves. So we took some of the laundry that she was going to wash and we constructed a wall. You guys know all about that, right? We constructed a wall, because this might have been a Mexican rat. We constructed a wall. Oh, I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. myself I wouldn't say things like that, but I'm not in my country. They can't get me here. So we constructed this barricade. The French would understand that, with all of the laundry. And that way, if it tried to run, it would be confined. And I started to move the washing machine back, thinking to reach under and grab it. Well, whatever it was ran under further, and we took a broomstick and we scared it to the back. A furry shape jumped up from behind onto the top of one of the water hoses, this far from my face, and it looked at me. And I said, okay, first off, Mom, we're going to work on your wildlife identification. This is actually not so much a rat as it is a flying squirrel. And it appears to be a very young baby squirrel at that. And she says, no, it's a rat. I said, Mom, look, it has gigantic brown soulful eyes. It is cute. It is adorable. It probably wants to be your friend. She said, it can be somebody else's friend. Get it out of my house. All right. So I went to grab for the rat. And the fucker jumped onto my head and then onto the dryer. I said, oh, okay. And I went to grab for it, and he did it again onto the hose. And then he did it again. Oh, this is the game you want to play, you little piece of shit. Okay, come here. I don't know how long I chased that little bastard. But I finally got him. And he was struggling and squeaking, and I said to Talon, open the sliding glass door. My mother lives in a second-floor condominium, and she's got a lovely balcony that overlooks the woods and the lakes. And I said, open the sliding glass door. And he did. And I took the fugitive, and I said, fly, be free. And I turned around, and I heard... I later did some research. Apparently flying squirrels need a certain minimum takeoff height that was perhaps just a little taller than my mother's balcony. We didn't see it there the next day. Either it was perfectly fine, or there was a very, very happy fox that night. This is good stuff. I probably shouldn't drink too much of it. Yeah. Because at 17, which is about 27.5 minutes from now, Tien Long is going to be joining me up here. We're going to be doing a small performance, perhaps benefiting the charity, we very much hope. That means if you've got any extra money burning its way through your pockets, you can get rid of it here. And I am a scientist. I don't just dress this way. I am a scientist. I can tell you that 43 different human disease germs live on every euro note. 43 diseases, and they are all highly contagious. For the sake of your health, we will take that money from you, and we will spare you from the filthy contamination. It's called money laundering. I've been working on that for a long time. By the way, you guys like all of the electronics and the lights and the ounces they have in here? Oh, on the art. This is amazing. Look at this. God, I love this convention. I go back to the early days when, if we wanted to have a dance, there would be a boombox and a living room table lamp that somebody would turn on and turn off and turn on and turn off. That was at Anthrocon in its formative years. And then the next year, we had 2 boomboxes and 3 lamps. I Had to have 3 volunteers all night long. But then as the convention grew and we got more money, my staff said, it's time we made this amazing. We want to requisition $12,000 at the time when our entire budget was $40,000 to rent the highest end equipment there is. We're going to get fog machines, we're going to get lasers, we're going to get unces, whatever those come out of, and we're going to get these things and those and all those, and oh, it's going to be great. And I said, yeah, but that costs a lot of money. They said, we got money, let's spend it. Fucking furries, that's the problem. So I authorized it. The company that we rented the equipment from was in awe. The man said to me, when Aerosmith comes to town, they don't rent this much equipment. They put up the microphones and the keyboards and the unces and the lasers and the fog and those metal things, whatever you call them, and all these things here. And then they took the plug and they plugged it in. And everything went dark. Thank you. They had planned everything but one detail. Fortunately, that has not happened at Anthrocon. But you know, there's still some beginning conventions. They should go to the Con War Stories panel. If you want to run a furry convention, go to the convention War Stories panel. Learn what you're getting yourself in for. There's a bunch of other stories on here. I could tell them. But I thought, just for giggles, I would reach far back into the depths of history and take a story that has not been told in more than 17 years. Because there are probably some people out there in the fandom who weren't born when I was going. And relate to you a story that happened many years ago when I was with the American Red Cross Disaster Services in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. My job on Friday nights was to sit around and wait for something terrible to happen. Don't laugh, it was Philadelphia. Something terrible would happen. It's a big city. I had a team. The head of the team was a very, very talented disaster technician by the name of Mark. Fantastic guy, fantastic guy. We would get into a Red Cross vehicle and we would just sort of drive through the city and we would listen to the police and fire scanner, and if there was a problem, we would go. We are not so much emergency responders. Our job is to offer comfort and assistance to people when their life has been turned upside down. So we were driving along and the scanner came on, structure fire, and it gave an address. Where's BT? And Mark said, that's very close to here. Now, these days in the long ago history of the 1990s did not come with GPSs. You had an analog GPS. We called it a map. And you had to unfold it. You tried not to unfold it because there was no physical way to fold it again exactly the way it had come. But I unfolded, I'm going, and Mark's saying, okay, we got to get there. Where is it? Where is it? And I said, okay, hang on. This is, what's the cross street? Oh, no, that's not where we are. I was in the passenger seat of a very large van, and Mark was driving. And when I could not find even where we were on this map, as we called it, Mark shouted to me, take the wheel. And when I looked over, he was climbing out the window of this moving vehicle. And I reached over and I took the wheel. What the hell are you doing? He said, just listen. Turn left, turn left, turn left. I turn left. Push the wheel. careening down the street. Mark climbed back in the window, slammed on the brake. The truck pulled up to a stop in front of a house that was on fire. We had made it before the fire department. Mark was good. I told you he was good. I swear, I'm not making this up. He sniffed that son of a bitch out. I was in awe of the man. I still am. So the first thing we had to discover was, is anybody in need of rescue or assistance? Now, in Philadelphia, we have what we call them row homes. It's a single long building with individual homes that are all attached. An architectural defect in these homes that were built at the beginning of the 19th and 20th centuries is that they all had a common attic space. So if the one at the end caught on fire, it would spread to all of them. The building at the end was fully involved in flames. And I said to the neighbors, who is in these buildings? They said, well, that one is empty. The one that's on fire is empty. The next one is also empty. But the third one, in that, there's an old lady in a wheelchair. Okay, that's what the Red Cross is all about. Oh, old ladies in wheelchairs. But that house was still okay. There was a little bit of smoke coming out of house number 2. House number 3 was still doing all right. So when the fire department arrived, I went to one of the firemen and I said, okay, nobody home, old lady in a wheelchair. He said, okay, got it, thank you very much. Well, at this point, there's really not anything for us to do. There's no one to look after. This is a vacant house. So we sat back to you know, got nothing else to do, let's watch the firemen do their job. They did a fine job. If anybody here is a firefighter or familiar with the physics of a house fire and knows what a backdraft is, as we were watching, the house on the end literally exploded. It just detonated into a ball of fire. Firemen were jumping off the ladders to get away from it. The second house started to belch smoke out of the windows, and now I saw that the third house, where the old lady was, it's going to be a problem. So I ran to the same firefighter. I said, hey, old lady wheelchair, remember her? And he said, got it. And he went up and he pounded on the door. Firemen don't screw around. They give you about 3 seconds to answer, then they're inside. And he went inside, and I could see the smoke was beginning to build up inside the house. If you've never been near a house fire, it's not like it is in the movies. That smoke is incredibly caustic. You get even close to it, your eyes start to burn, your lungs start to burn. It's not survivable. And I could hear the fireman inside arguing with someone. And he's saying, no, you have to go, you'll burn up. And a voice said, no, I don't want to go, I want to stay. The fireman said, ma'am, you cannot stay, I have to get you out of here. No, I don't want to go. And I was worried, and I called into the door. I said, this is the Red Cross, do you need assistance? And I heard the fireman's voice say, yes, grab the front of the wheelchair. So I waited. Now, there were about 6 or 7 concrete steps that led up to this door. And I was peering through the smoke, and through the smoke, I saw a leg. And then another one. And the front of a wheelchair as wide as the door. And I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. The woman was very substantial. Really substantial. There was a lot of substance. That's just, okay. And I thought, okay, I do not have the physical strength to help with this. I will break my back. We have to carry her down these stairs. It's really amazing. Number one, how our first image of somebody forms an opinion, whether that opinion is right or wrong. And number two, it is amazing when a disaster occurs how human beings forget their differences and rush to help one another. I looked over my shoulder and there were 5 or 6 Mexican gangbangers with tattoos and the bandanas and the stuff rushing toward me. And to borrow a line from Boozy Badger, I said, okay, so this is how I die. These tough, young street kids surrounded me, and all of them reached in, and between all of us, we were able to carry this wheelchair with a very substantial woman out of the home, which was now very full of smoke. Don't judge people when you first see them, okay? I know it's a very, very human thing to do, but remember this story next time. So we got her down onto the sidewalk, and she was hysterical. No, no, I can't go, I can't go. The fireman ran off. Now it's my job. I'm the one who offers comfort. I said, ma'am, you cannot go in there. I'm sorry. And she said, but Elvis is in there. Oh, I gotta go in. Ma'am, Elvis has left the building. It's okay. I saw him in Graceland yesterday. And she looked at me sourly and I said, Elvis is my cat! Oh. I'll apologize later. And I looked inside. The smoke was black as it was pouring out the door. Mark came over, and the woman was just screaming, hysterical, you have to get Elvis, you have to get Elvis. She was so upset, and I felt so bad, I committed the singular mortal sin of any emergency responder. I made her a promise. I said, I'll get your cat, I promise. And Mark looked at me like he wanted to kill me with his eyes. And I said, okay, ma'am, is there somebody here on the street that looks after you? Can we take you to a neighbor's house? And she told me through her tears that at the far end, there was a lady who came to look after her. So I ran down the street, ran up the stairs, and I banged on the door. When the door opened, these 2 massive Great Danes, who were from the Netherlands, leaped out the door and almost knocked me backwards. And they're like, oh, we love you. We've only just met you, but we love you. And they're giving me the lems on the face and lem. And behind them was a 1,000,000-year-old woman. And I said, you're looking after... All right. And I said, listen, your neighbor's house is on fire. The lady, can I bring her down here? She's not afraid of dogs, is she? She said, oh, no, bring her in, bring her. I'll get the dogs. This woman who was this tall and weighed about 1 kilogram grabbed both of these dogs and dragged them back inside. And I went back, and Mark was wheeling the lady down. And I said, okay, what now? He said, you have to get her cat. I looked. I said, that's an awful lot of smoke. He said, you promised. Yes, I did. So, you think you can hold your breath. You think you can keep your eyes open. You cannot. I was not equipped to go in. This was one of the stupidest damn things I've ever done. But I said to the lady, I will get Elvis. Is there anything else you need? Well, she gave me a list. She wanted Elvis. She wanted her blanket. And I quote, she wanted her pot. Okay. Sure. We'll do that for you. All right. And I went in. My flashlight looked like a lightsaber because of all the smoke. And I saw there was a sofa and there was this little black and white tuxedo cat. And he looked exactly like he was wearing a tuxedo. He had white and this little black patch here. And I mean, he was a perfect tuxedo cat. And I said, you must be Elvis. And I picked him up, and he was like, oh, purr, I love you, oh, purr, purr. I said, okay, I got Elvis. This must be the blanket. So I wrapped Elvis up in the blanket. And now, what kind of pot does she smoke? All right. Well, the only thing I could find that matched that description, okay, in that section of Pennsylvania, the word pot can be used to describe what I found. It was a portable toilet, which had recently been utilized. Okay, Elvis, you get to ride here. Choking, blinded by the smoke, I got to the door. And Mark was standing there. I said, take this. He said, no, give me the goddamn cat. I said, no, no, he likes me. No, give me the cat. Okay, take the cat, take the cat. So Mark took the cat, and I took this and I went, oh, my eyes stunk. I'll never get the soot out of my lungs. And I looked down the sidewalk. House number 4 was also vacant. It had a basement that had a small window in it. And Mark was kneeling in front of that basement window going, come here, come on, come here. I said, oh, please, God, tell me you didn't let him go. He said, he was clawing me. I said, Mark, that was the sweetest cat I've ever met. He said he was trying to scratch me. I said, oh, you pussy. All right, okay. Is he down there? He said, yes. Okay. Take off the helmet, take off the vest. And Mark said, where are you going? I said, I made a promise. Now, the basement of a vacant home in a seedy neighborhood of Philadelphia contains some things that you probably don't want to run across. Broken glass, raw sewage, dead bodies, live bodies. I slithered down there, and I was fortunately wearing my heavy boots because I slithered down and went, oh, great. Okay, Elvis, here, kitty. And I swung the flashlight around, and on top of what was left of the home's boiler, there was the little black and white tuxedo. In the darkness, all I saw was the white parts. It was kind of neat. Just like down here, all I see is the white parts of that fursuit. It was cute. So I went in and I picked him up. Oh, yes, oh, yeah, I love you. I said, okay. And I noticed he was wearing a collar. I said, good. So I went to the window. I couldn't get out with Elvis, so I said to Mark, okay, see the collar? Put your finger in the collar and just hold him in your arms. You'll be fine. So Mark took off, and I climbed out that window, shook the stuff off with my boots, and when I got out, I heard a scream, a high-pitched scream of human terror and agony. And Mark had his back to me, and he was doing this, and it looked like there was a Tasmanian devil in his arms because there's claws going, and there were pieces of skin and blood flying up. And Mark's going, God damn it, he ran to the house. He said, here's your goddamn cat. I said, no, Mark, the dogs. Fortunately, anybody who knows cats knows that at their discretion, cats can turn off gravity. Apparently, Elvis did something of an arc in the air over the dogs and onto the top of the fireplace. I went to see Mark. His t-shirt was red. He had scratches all over his face, and he was walking like this. His arms were dripping red. I said, Mark, he said, don't touch me. I said, let's get you to the ambulance. We'll just get you cleaned up. And I took him to the medic unit, and the medic looked at this and said, Jesus, what happened to you? And Mark said, he made a promise. So Mark sat down, and the medic is starting to patch him up. And then, out of the darkness, we saw the million-year-old lady coming. Elvis is an orange cat. And I looked at Mark. He said, well, paint the fucker. As it turned out, we had the right cat. The older lady had gotten a little bit confused. So the lady in the wheelchair was happy. Elvis was happy. The dogs, they were so dumb they didn't know what was going on, so they were happy. Everything turned out all right in the end. That was when the Red Cross paid staff showed up. Always a day late and $1 short. The volunteers do the work. These guys show up as soon as the news cameras do. But that's another story for another day. The director of the Red Cross came up and said, so, anything you guys need? And I looked at Mark and he looked at me. And I said, yes, the old lady needs her blanket and her pot. Could you go get him? He said, sure, I'll get him, I promise. I'm not going to go further with that story. There's more to it, but some of you are going to have dinner soon. I'm running very, very short on time, at least for here. But what? Oh, well, we have basically, well, no, you're not going to any other story hour. There's no other story hour. You're going to stay where you are, you piece of crap. There's not going to be anything else. You're going to stay there and play the fucking piano, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
I like him when he says that. But I am going to share with you a story that took place in the frozen north of the United States. I was visiting an old friend of mine. No, the other frozen north of the United States. Minnesota or Wisconsin or whatever the hell that place, one of those places. They all run together. I was visiting a friend. I'd known him many years. He went by a different name than you call him Kyle Gold now. But I was visiting Kyle and we decided to go visit the Mall of the Americas. Why? We had nothing better to do. It's frickin' Wisconsin. So we went to the Mall of the Americas. And they were having apparently a children's elementary school art presentation. They had panels set up, and the children had drawn pictures. And apparently they had been told the assignment was create a character. Create a character, and then write 1 or 2 sentences about that character. And we looked at each other and we said, let's see if we can find the furries. So we looked around, and here was Mr. Bun Bun, a rabbit. That's probably one. Oh, and here's Mr. Moose. That's probably one. And I went around the corner and I stopped and I said, hey, Kyle, come here. And he came over. We were looking at a very crude drawing. It was a circle with a small circle in the middle and radiating squiggles coming out from it and a large black line going into it. Try to picture it. And the sentences that were written was, Mr. Eye of Death has only one eye. His other eye was poked out with an ice pick. That's a furry. That wasn't the only one. The one right next to it had a sort of strangely shaped amorphous green character with an unhappy looking face on it, and the sentences said, "Snot Man is a depressed middle-aged guy who lives with his mom." It doesn't take a genius to realize these two kids sat together. Now, my hour is up. In fact, I've gone over by 50 seconds. Sue me. I want to thank Mr. Foxamore for joining me up here. As he is going to continue to be joining me up here for the next 2 hours if he knows what's good for him. And I'm going to ask to be joined up here by another person, if I can put that in there. Another individual that I have performed with before, and I love sharing the stage with him. And since I have sake, I think I know how to call him. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, the celestial dragon Tien Long. Tien Long, do you need a microphone, or is your voice booming and powerful enough they can hear you?
Ba, ba, ba. Oh, I think that's booming. Is this booming and powerful? Ba. Does that work? I heard they could. Thank you for the 5 people that applaud.
Try saying something in German.
Beer. How the alcohol always gets a better reaction than when I actually try to be a dragon. It's somewhat strange.
Well, these people invented beer, remember?
That is true, that's true.
What did they?
Speaking of things that they invented and drinking them, would you be so kind, if you will?
Oh, you need me?
I need you to pop my top. Thank you.
Oh, I wish Boozy were here right now. You know why?
Why is that?
He'd get a kick out of this.
No. We're not doing this kitty. No, we're not doing this kitty treatment. For those of you that don't know, Mr. Boozy Badger, infamously around Twitter and whatnot, he has unfortunately cursed me with the moniker of Giant Celestial Kitty. And the story of that started out when he had shown his youngest of 4 children a picture of my humble self on his cell phone, and instead of gasping in awe, falling to their knees and, just smothering me with adulations and praises of all sorts, he looked at the phone, pointed his finger, and said, "Kitty!" And Boozy, of course, being the responsible parent that he is, held the phone there and said to their son, no, you know what, that's... You know what, yeah, that's a kitty. Let's call him a kitty. And since then it has stuck, and apparently now I am a giant celestial kitty, which I am not. But I am a giant celestial kitty who can be apparently lured by sake bottles and strings on them.
Well, I would like to lure you this one. We've run into a small problem.
What's that?
There is one wine glass up here, the one lying on its side. There is a chip in it. I cannot safely let you drink out of it, so I'm afraid you are probably just out of luck, because we have no glass for you. All right, that works.
This mic was hot when I did that, wasn't it? Oh, goodness, that was good stuff.
Oh, now, this is actually a portion of the show that is dedicated to helping out the charity this year.
The Lemurs of Madagascar, a charity that is, well, they are helping a cause which I may say so myself is one of the most noble of any that you may find. Lemurs, which are natives of Madagascar and only in the country of Madagascar, are extremely endangered, to the point where, well, if we don't do something about it as a community and as a whole, we might not have lemurs in the near future. So I implore you all, if you are here to enjoy the show, we are doing this in benefit for the lemurs of Madagascar. You're holding a piece of paper. What is that?
Tien Long, this says, "Tell Tien Long his zipper is open." He looked.
Why would you do that? I'm talking about wholesome, family-friendly topics, and you're talking about all of my zippers being open and all.
Because we're going to get money out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, you see this lovely, lovely bag here? The more that goes into this bag, the funnier we will be. The less that goes into the bag, the more boring we will be. I'll tell you what, I'll start it here if you don't mind. Pass it around. And we're going to start out by being boring. Until there's enough money in the bag for us not to be boring.
I see some wallets being pulled up right now. I see that there are people spending that hard-earned money on the fluffy soft lemurs. The lemurs with the ring details and the big adoring eyeballs and the ones that cling to your face. And if you ever start ear-scritching the lemurs or giving them belly rubs, you'll be held captive for 30 minutes.
Hang on, we're still in the boring part.
Oh, right, we're in the boring part. How to be boring? How do I be boring?
The weather is very warm, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is dreadfully hot. Dreadfully hot. Almost like...
Fortunately, though, we have a lot of our fans here.
I don't know.
That's the best you get till you put money in the bag. This is back.
I see that...
Hey, what are you doing? How are you?
And I see that, what kind, oh my goodness.
Oh, this was collected by PayPal by my fans or Tien Long's. Oh, by my fans. There appears to be 70 euros here.
70 euros by Uncle Kage's fans for the charity. That's
I like that.
We were just talking about the weather and got 70 bucks. I wonder what we can talk about that would keep that going up.
Oh, wait a minute. So, okay. In America, we would say 70 bucks. Do you have a nickname for the euro? No? What? Scheisse?
70 scheisses.
We have 70 scheisse.
70 scheisses. Do I give 70 scheisses? Yes, I give 70 scheisses.
Let's see what this says on it. Oh, it actually has all the languages. It says scheisse, merd, merde, morde.
Yeah, it's even got Asian on it.
That one, yeah, that one's... Is there Asians in the European Union?
Oh,
no, wait, that's Greek. I'm sorry. American educational system, I apologize. Whatever.
But at least it's better than having to stare at that angrily scowling queen's face if you're in one of those Commonwealth countries. For those of you that don't know, any of the Commonwealth countries under the monarchy still utilizes the Queen's face. You know, the nice, pristine-looking queen that has looked the same for the past 50 years and everyone's convinced she's a vampire.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my. Wow. Please tell me that was from my fans.
All of our money is green. I don't recognize this. What is this?
This is approximately 500 euros already. 500 euros from most definitely I think we're hitting some magic words here.
Dude, you get butt sex. Talk to him later.
Why does it have to be me?
Well, you're the cute one. Kitty.
I just find it fascinating that we're talking about such mundane topics like, you know, the weather and the Queen, and both of those already gone at
and then freaking 700 euros showed at my feet. We're going to talk about willies and sex and fucking now.
I mean, we could, but I mean, I was talking about the Queen, and that already showed up.
We should not be... Okay. Politics aside, she is a grand old lady, so I will shut up and let you finish your thought.
Well, my only thought was that for such a grand old lady, and again a vampiric one at that, because she never seems to age, she seems to get angry and angrier the farther away you actually get from England. This is very true, and that is speaking from a Scot, which, on your money, I bet that she still looks at least pleasant, does she not?
Not on our money at all.
You took her off your money?
Yeah, we made her screw that.
You guys ran away real quick after the whole Brexit thing.
We didn't vote Brexit.
That is true.
Oh, wait. According to my president, you guys voted for it.
No, we voted against Brexit.
Did you?
Yes, Scotland unanimously.
My president lied to me.
Could this be possibly what we call fake news?
I promised myself I wasn't going to go there.
Yes, and we literally just said we weren't going to talk about politics, but it's okay.
We're like the most liberal country in Europe. I mean, we wear scarves.
Well, that's true.
I would like to see you in a skirt one day, I'm just saying.
Oh, I've seen pictures.
Can you? Oh, hello.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much to the turtle, thank you.
Yep. I've seen him in a skirt. He's got very knobbly knees, you know.
That is, wasn't there one time where he was wearing one of your shirts and he, like, literally disappeared into a vacuum?
No, that actually never happened. More fake news.
More fake news, definitely.
No, okay.
Fake report.
First off, Foxamore, as slender and svelte as he is, he used to be skeletally thin. The very first year I met him was at Eurofurence in Magdeburg, I believe, and he had spilled coffee on his shirt. And where's the old lady going? Bathroom. Okay, bathroom.
Bathroom.
You're allowed. Bathroom. He had spilled coffee on his shirt, so I said, well, it's okay, young Master Amore. I have got a spare shirt in my suitcase. So we went to my room.
Oh,
see, I can tell people throughout history, Fox Amore's worn my clothes. I put one of my shirts on him. You could have fit 9 of him in my shirt. Now, either he was extremely skeletally thin or my diet was not working then. Which is it?
I mean, you do look like you've lost some weight recently, Howard.
I've lost a lot of weight recently. If you had the president I had, you'd lose weight too. I told myself I wouldn't do that. Oh my God.
I just realized you had this shirt on my head the entire time.
Did I? Actually, that was Fox's idea.
That was Fox's idea? I thought you and I had a better rapport than that, Fox.
Never trust a fox.
Never trust a fox, indeed. And
well, sucks to be you. Moving right along. There's more money piling up here. I'm feeling positively lubricated, the amount of money here. My throat. Okay, let me start this again.
It's all sitting by your feet. You're Eurofrence's best paid stripper at this point.
Well, obviously.
Oh, come on. They've thrown money at your feet. You're supposed to at least take something off.
Obviously, they trust me. As an American, the inventor of capitalism, I can be trusted with your money.
I don't know why this sounds like one of those 3 AM infomercials we see back in the States. I wouldn't trust Uncle Fester in a bathrobe.
Hey! Well, let's put it this way. Your heritage as a celestial dragon comes from China, is that correct?
Yes, China, not China, as the American president would say, China. I love the smartest fox.
Well, here's the thing. You get a theme song every time that you walk on. I don't get a theme song.
I thought, well, what? Actually, that's a good thought. I thought you always had one, but you do not have a theme song. Fox, does he have a theme song?
Did I?
Well, that's the stream song.
The theme song for the wine stream was written by Drax, but I don't have the Foxamore special. Well, okay, when Tianlong walks on, we get the Celestial's Ball. When Uncle Kage walks in, what do we get? Okay, give me something now. Okay, I need a theme song. Give me a theme song. Okay, lights up. Here we go.
I was about to say, are you doing that in reverse and he walks off the stage? Could you be like a DJ and like play it in reverse and then go backwards so he has to go like back and forth every time you do that? Exactly, yeah, you should do that, you should do that. But as I was saying on that earlier point, the farther away you get from England, the sort of angrier she gets on your money. So if yours in, say, Canada, which is just across the pond, she has this sort of tight-lipped smile, sort of like when you walk by a fursuiter who has never showered in their life. Then, she totally does that. And then when you get to Australia, she's practically giving you the, like, death glare of the ages. Yes, kind of like when Uncle Kage's sober.
Yes, I can't argue with that. Well, okay, Australia, first off, the reason she does that is she is simply being ecologically attentive because everything in Australia wants to murder you.
Including the Queen on the money.
Yes. The money wants to kill you, the air wants to kill you, the hook turn wants to kill you in Melbourne. Oh my God. I've been to Australia. But is Doc Rat out here right now? Oh, he's in the dealer's room. What I like about Doc Rat is he is an Australian physician. And the man must be a demigod because he can treat people who have been bitten by tiger snakes and drop bears and box jellies. He just gives them 2 aspirin and has them call him in the morning.
I bet I know where all of his patients get bitten. You want to know where?
Where?
Down under.
Okay, how did I walk into that? Oh, God.
That was worth at least a smatter of applause, which they gave.
It was worth a smattering of applause, but the smattering seems to have done. Where's that bag? Keep that bag moving around out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoever has the bag, please wave it around so we can see it. You see it? My eyes are all old.
Oh, we need
the bag's halfway
donations.
The bag has halfway escaped to Madagascar towards those lemurs.
We need extra donations because I have a confession to make.
Which is?
I am old. That's my...
Yes, the sky is also blue. Are you going to yell at a cloud now, old man?
Here's what happened. Night Fox entrusted me to order some charity ribbons that were to be used to raise money for the charity from the United States and to bring them with me to Eurofurence. And I dutifully said, I must not forget these. I will plate these on my kitchen table so I will see them and remember to bring them. They're still sitting on my kitchen table in North Carolina in the USA. So I fucked up. Give more money or Night Fox will hate me. Thank you very much.
I may have made some promises to Fox on your behalf for that little...
You're not supposed to make promises. Remember where it gets you, Elvis?
Oh, right. If I don't make promises, do I not become Elvis? Because they have this whole Elvis thing outside. I'd rather not be drafted to do any Elvis stage shows. I don't want to be Elvis.
If we get enough money, maybe we can have Tien Long do his famous Elvis impersonation.
What? No, take that back right now. Go spend it in the dealers. No, you take that. I don't want to do Elvis.
Don't be cruel there, Foxamore. Yeah. No, you know how it goes. It's, you know it can't be found, sitting all alone. Tien Long's supposed to be doing that, actually.
I was about to say, you were doing a damn good Elvis impression.
Don't be cruel to a heart that's yellow. I don't want no other sake. Baby, this one here is just enough.
You're doing it far better than I am. I think the crowd wants to see you do the Elvis impersonation.
Oh, no.
What do you think? Do you think Uncle Kage would make a good Elvis?
Well, I need a little more hair.
Yeah, that's true. You're not really qualified for that department.
But I'm fat enough. I could be the 1972 Elvis. Give us a cheeseburger there, huh? Hold on, honey.
Yeah. It goes something like this. You get beef and onions, and you get beef, and you get more beef, and you just get more beef on top.
At what point do we, you know, at what point do we?
Did you just say do me?
Well, what point? Have to pay a lot more for that, but I'm willing.
Dude, you're the most well-paid stripper at Eurofurence right now. I think they are paying enough.
I haven't taken anything off yet. Oh,
that's the best part, is that you haven't taken anything off. Yes, for the minimum of 800 euros, Uncle Kage will sway side to side for you, because any more than that, his hip will go out.
I happen to have my brother-in-law, also a learned physician, in the front row, so I'm not worried.
He's on vacation.
Are you allowed to practice in Germany? till he gets it right.
Well, if not, he can always just say, I swear, I found him this way when we got here.
You know, I've always thought about that. He always says, I practice medicine. Well, you can't be very good at it, can you?
And that's the interesting the interesting thing is that if you practice medicine versus practice, say, being being a pharmacist or something, as a pharmacist you can actually say, I swear I found him that way, because, well, they're not the ones that actually do the diagnosis, so you can't blame them.
You know, I have an interesting job.
Really?
This white coat, I don't just wear this, to be a poser. I actually am a scientist. I work in the pharmaceutical field.
Oh, I was going to say mixologist.
Well, that too. I mean, that's, a bartender and a chemist, they're the same person. One just knows what he's doing. We'll leave it at that. You go to the pharmacy and they say, oh, you would like some oxycodone. You have to have a doctor's prescription, and you can only have a tiny amount, and we're only going to give you 10 pills. And such. Companies call me up and say, we need you to test our oxycodone. We're going to send you 800 kilograms of it. If you have any left, send it back. Yeah.
I think we just found...
Sorry.
I think we just found the real-life Breaking Bad Heisenberg.
No, I do not. I have never watched Breaking Bad, and I never will, because it will give me ideas. What am I going to do with all this? I mean, sorry, what's the charity going to do with all this money?
I really don't know. I wish I had, actually visited the charity booth beforehand and, gotten some of their goals and whatnot. I think they have two particular goals. One which is to raise awareness about one project, and then the second is for the silky was it sifakas or something like that. Silky sifakas, and they're trying to, make their lives better in general. But in terms of lemurs, there was actually a very interesting incident once where I went up to a primate sanctuary in my home province of Ontario, Canada. And the silky sifaka lemur, which they actually had one at that time, was sitting in a cage, and it was just sort of being a lemur. You know how lemurs are. They're just being lemurs. Yeah, they're really good at being lemurs. Oh, I love your Canada, you're doing. And the silky sifaka just sat there and was looking all forlorn and whatnot until I walked in. And as soon as I walked in, it sort of understood that there was a new friend around. It's like a dog that had been locked up for ages, and when a new friend walks in, it's like, oh, gee, I just met you and I love you now. Please pet me, yes, and I will give you lems. Tell me I'm a good boy. Draw me like one of your good boys. And it sort of just did that. The lemur sort of stretched out in its cage, gave me this sultry look, it stretched out and was like, draw me like one of your good lemurs. Please don't take photos of this. And as soon as I reached my hand in and I started stroking the lemur, it was making all of these noises like, yes, purr. Yes, keep this up, you human slave, you dragonic slave, you. I shall keep you for the next half an hour now until your fingers tire out and I look just as good as I did before. But I mean, these lemurs in general, these lemurs are precious creatures. I think that, if anything, we ought to be helping them as much as we can.
We should be, but you didn't tell the rest of that story.
While
you were sitting there stroking the lemur who wanted you to pet him, the other lemur was taking your wallet.
Yes, and apparently he just donated what was left in my wallet on the stage. So thank you to the other lemur just now.
I think it's time, just to get started, I was doing a wine stream lately. Now, if you don't know what the wine stream is...
Good.
May I? My doctor said to me, I don't want to hear about you drinking alone. Never drink alone. I said, yes, sir, Mr. Physician, sir. Well, I went home, and I wanted to have some sake, but I was all by myself. And I thought, well, if I were to set up a webcam, and a bunch of people are watching me, I'm not really alone, am I? That's how the wine stream came about. Well, Tien Long was on one of my wine streams. He's been on several of them. We do amazing when he's on. Sometimes we have a little too much sake.
Sometimes.
Is
that American?
Have a little too. Okay, we got shit-faced. We were eight. At the time, you know how when you're drinking, sometimes something seems like a good idea?
Everything seems like a good idea.
Apparently, I ran into my bedroom and I opened up a drawer and I got out the Speedos that I used to wear for speed swimming when I was 25 years old.
Oh, wow. So that was like the 17th century.
Yes.
Just setting the mood.
By sheer coincidence, we happen to have them here. I thought we would do a little bit of an interesting sociological experiment and have people put money on the stage, and whoever of myself or Tien Long gets the most amount of money will wear the Speedos for the remainder of this show.
I'll tell you right now, full disclaimer, he looks better in them.
I'll be right back. Keep them warmed up, Tien.
When he had shown these Speedos first time on the stream, he was supposed to play that backwards when he was going off the stage. That sounds like the ringtone when someone hangs up on me when I'm
It's actually a lot
for.
thinner than now that I think about it.
It's about the same.
So, here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a pile of euros in front of me and a pile of euros in front of Tien Long. And when we get to about within 10 minutes to the end of the show, whoever has more will have to wear them for the remaining 10 minutes. Now, I happen to know it's going to be Tien because you guys do not fucking want to see me in these now.
Yes, you do.
Okay. No.
I thought you were proud of your accomplishments when you lost that much weight.
I need to lose another 50 pounds before I'll fit into those.
In that case, let me help you do that then.
Hey, no, wait. Fuck some more. Would you kindly explain to Tien Long why he should not do this?
Why you shouldn't wear Speedos? There's no shouldn't about it. This is your thing.
I was just...
It's 2 against 1.
You were sucking on me.
I was going to give you a blowjob and I got caught. Sorry.
In front of all of these people, really, in front of your friends.
Oh, no, you think you're in the wrong.
Oh, yes. Oh, Gumi, yes, thank you very much.
Right
that was definitely towards you. Yes, very much so.
Where's my glass? We had it,
there we go.
Oh, Fox. There we go, thank you. €5, you fucking cheap Scottish git.
Oh, that's what he wants
That's
to be.
£2.
Scottish, all right, you can tell. Listen, I visited Edinburgh. At Edinburgh Castle.
Edinburgh.
It's pronounced Edinburgh, you cheap piece of plastic.
You call it Edinburgh.
What?
Like you like to do all the time. It's like we're now leaving for Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. And
I'm sure I am making this donation on behalf of the lemurs.
No, okay. Anyway.
Wait a minute.
What?
If I could pay in volume, I think we'd have a winner for you.
We have 20, that goes over here. Oh, hello.
Oh, this is 20 American dollars. What is it, like 3
That's
euros?
like a euro.
That's like a euro and a half, maybe. There we are.
Okay, all right, I'm sitting down here. You sit back in here, you get your chair.
Oh, thank you.
I was visiting Edinburgh. And I was... Oh, it's a picture of Kage's Tears of Joy. Isn't that cute? Thank you.
So it's basically like he's predicting the future, because that'll be you 10 minutes before the show ends. There we are. Dude,
I visited Edinburgh, and at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they fired a cannon to mark the hour of 1 o'clock. And it's every day. That cannon is shot at 1 o'clock. And I thought that very strange, because why 1 o'clock? And the gentleman, the artilleryman, he was called Tom the Gun. He was Sergeant Thomas Mackey at the time. I went to him and I said, Sergeant Mackey, why is it that you fire the cannon at 1 o'clock and not 12? Everybody else around the world, they observe the hour of 12 noon. And he said, well, we're Scottish, laddie. If we did it at 12, we'd have to waste 12 shells.
Are you sure he was Scottish? I want to check his DNA. He might have a bit of Asian in him.
No, he was as Scottish as they come. Big flaming red beard, slanted eyes.
But dude, he got like the best deal of the century. He got a 12-for-1 deal. Such a good deal,
I love it when you do that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay, this is a guy, his job is to fire a fucking cannon every day. I want that job. Oh, God.
I mean, you could, but you're old and all,
okay,
so you're not firing.
It's an American thing. You give us something that goes bang, and we want it. We even put it in our goddamn Constitution.
He wants something that bangs. End of story.
Yes, I did.
Speaking of these donations so far,
you got a lot more than I got.
I've got 50, 60... I've got about a good 100 and something euros, and dude, again,
okay, we still
you're
have
making back your
we have another 20 minutes to go before we add it up. People will come your way. It's all right.
Okay, hold on. Well, let me use my Asian card and add this for you. You win. There you go.
No, that was World War II. We're not going to do that. Oh, sorry, I forgot. That was the Japanese. You all look alike. I'm sorry. Too soon.
I feel like I'm being tag teamed from both sides with that one.
Well, we do have two of the allies here. Oh, wait a minute. China was on our side, wasn't it?
China's involvement in World War II was we sort of just rolled over and showed our belly and said, yes, please give me belly scratches. And the Japanese came with a rake. That was their belly scratches for us. But then afterwards, I think we came out all right, so to say. But the details of that, you can read up on your own time. Right now, however, I'm looking at your pile and I'm like, dude, there are a bunch of people with weird fetishes I don't want to know about.
Well, now, Tien, tell me something.
What's that?
You as a fursuiter, is it true that fursuiters have a very limited field of vision? Okay, can you see my hand? Okay, you're looking at me now. Look straight forward. Look straight forward.
All right.
Can you see my hand?
I can't see your hand. Are we doing the first con panel again?
Oh, so you cannot see... Sorry, I shouldn't say that here. You have difficulty seeing.
Yes, I have many difficulties seeing.
Oh, okay.
I'm old and whatnot.
So this is a public service announcement, ladies and gentlemen. If you see a fursuiter who is about to trip over something, you can tell him, look out, look down.
Yes,
that's your public service announcement.
Especially if it involves big piles of euros, which I certainly do not have in front of me. Right?
I gotta fill my glass. How you doing over there, Fox? You had a currywurst.
He has a currywurst. Currywurst in Berlin, which is probably the most authentic you get. I still have yet to try a currywurst. What is that like? What was yours like, Fox?
Very smelly and currywursty and nice.
How was the currywurst? It was very currywursty. Great job. Thank you for verifying that.
Very
Yes, it was as wursty as they come.
It's basically...
Hello, Silver Fox.
Oh, thank you very much.
Communicable diseases on that thing. Let's not get 70% alcohol. I'm not scared.
No wonder you keep on drinking it.
You're doing quite well there, Tien Long. Look at that. Everybody loves you.
Dude, what happened? Did you suddenly show them the Speedos on me in Photoshop or something?
I flashed them my belly. They're putting the money over your side.
Wait, you flashed your belly. They're paying me money to put on Speedos.
Ich bin ein Altmann.
Yes, and the sky is blue, like I said. Would you like to yell at the clouds?
Well, that'd be yelling at you. You're the celestial weather dragon, aren't you?
I guess I would be. But in any case, this sort of reminds me of one of the gags that we had in years past. Namely, when one year we were at Midwest Fur Fest together, which is in Chicago, a very fine convention, lots of people. I'm sure lots are familiar with it. But during one of the charity shows there, we had a fursuiter come in with some choice underwear.
Oh, him!
Yes. Some choice underwear in this form of,
Let's just say he was pointing down the street.
And very, very proud to show it off. But anyhow, this same choice fursuiter, well, us stage performers up here, we all know that we make the best of every bad situation. And we started making a running joke during that show of, oh, let's see how much money this fursuiter can get by, raising money by doing things, and all of the money will flood into this fursuiter. We didn't realize that the audience that night took it a little too literally and started sidling up to the fursuiter and sort of nipping at the pant line and slipping in a $1 bill and snapping it back onto the fursuiter. By the time we were finished with that show, they were wearing a hoop.
So on your side,
By the time we had finished with that show, the fursuiter was wearing a hula skirt of $1 bills.
Really?
Yes, it was. And at that moment,
oh my goodness.
Is that currency in furry?
This is better than currency. Camera guys, can you zoom in on this? Can you see this?
What is it?
It is a drunken lemur attempting to raise money for...
A drunken lemur.
What? In Uncle Kage's Speedo.
A drunken lemur and Uncle Kage's Speedo.
Okay,
there is a drop down on Fur Affinity for that.
Do we get it? Is it showing? Thank you, my dear. This is worth €1,000. Every of your side.
And at the end of that segment during that charity show, with the hula skirt of $1 bills strapped to that fursuiter's choice underwear, I remember we couldn't help but make one comment. Not you and I, but there was one comment that was made, which was, goodness, I wonder how many dollar bills, or how many times those dollar bills have been passed from stripper to stripper. It's true, there's a running joke that in America, every $1 bill you come across has probably been in a stripper's pants at one point or another. And now we have people running around with a fursuit strippers' dollar bills in their wallets. Let that sink into your mind for a moment. No wonder you keep so many ones in your wallet.
I was going to say, at what point do we tell them who that fursuiter was?
If they're watching out there, by the way, I hope you're not offended. I just want to make sure that everyone knows we love you and your underwear.
Never fall in love with a fursuit, because you never know what's inside it.
Didn't you have a fursuit in another era?
That was Chester Ringtail.
Mm-hmm. And what happened with Mom when she found Chester Ringtail one year?
Where is she? Well, no, she bathroom. Where is she?
Bathroom.
What? No, she went to...
No. She went to the bathroom.
Okay.
That's supposed to be about.
Deonta Hexa was at Eurofurence and Chester Ringtail. Oh, excuse me. Grab that. Too late.
In Germany, this is
no glass.
In Germany, this is still valid currency, is it not?
It's better now. Well, I mean, consider, Champ, you've got like €1,000 there, and all I have is 14. Yeah, maybe we better start putting it in the bag.
Yeah, perhaps we need a blow dry or something.
A blow dryer?
No, okay, a hair dryer. Thank you kindly. Anyhow, about Mom and Chester Ringtail.
Chester was doing his stripper thing at Eurofurence. It was like 15 or 16 at the Ringberg. And Chester went slinking past the lift, and this little white-haired old lady got out of the lift. And she went, oh, look at you.
Now,
And Chester was going, and she said, Sind Sie Deutscher? And Chester said, Ich bin dein Sohn. And she said, oh dear.
Could you picture that little old lady doing that? Because I certainly can.
Fake news.
It's fake news.
No, it's not. I can't defend that because I think there's video.
I was about to say, and not only the video, but she's still here, and she probably would be...
Well, she is supposed to be sitting in the front row, chastely not going anyplace else.
And you weren't supposed to spill this drink of yours.
Well, that's okay. That was not the expensive sake. I still have one bottle of 23... which obviously must be mine.
Okay, it's either I have the foggiest memory for being as old as I am, or this pile of money, this pile of euros is having intercourse and creating money babies.
Oh, you're Chinese. What do you know about money?
Good deals. Buy one, get one free. Good deal.
I've learned some Cantonese hanging out with him.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. Would you like me to teach you some Cantonese?
No.
phrases?
Yeah.
No.
Tien Long has taught me some relevant Cantonese phrases.
Only to be used in the politest of company, I'll mind you.
Repeat after me. Oh hi, hamsup wailo. That is, I am a perverted old white man.
Only applicable to this one, I'll have you know. It's tailored for him. But do not attempt to drink the microphone. I believe you've done that more than once.
What?
Attempt to drink the microphone.
No, I do not drink the microphone.
Have you ever seen him try to deep-throat a microphone? It's hard.
Hey! You're supposed to be a physician. Don't you have like a hypocritical oath or something that prevents you?
But remember, he's on vacation right now. That oath is also on vacation while he's at it.
I'm going to get one of those tall glasses. I trust you. Hold this for me while I get one of the tall glasses.
Yeah, you do that.
That was dirty. Hang on. There we go. Excuse me.
Oh, there was a bit of like slime on the top. It was probably from John over there. I had to get it off for you.
You realize he was drinking from that bottle. You're going to get Yankee germs.
Promise?
We have another couple of minutes if you want to vote for which of us has to wear these Speedos. Currently, it looks like it's going to be a landslide for my colleague.
You're looking very much below my belt. Excuse me, are you getting yourself prepared?
What, to hit you below the belt? I'm American, that's what we
Hit
do.
on me below the belt.
Okay, you know, when you pour it into a glass, it kind of takes away some of the fantasy.
You know, I'm sorry, I couldn't help but notice this sign over here. We are at Eurofurence, are we not?
It says, sorry, Faumont.
But we are at Eurofurence.
Wait, sorry, I'd say, Caution, wet floor. All people get that.
What I am trying to get at is, this is Eurofurence, and perhaps this is a tad bit of feedback, if I may, to the Eurofurence organizers, but perhaps these signs could be altered so that it looks like a fursuiter instead of a person.
Well, what I see is it saying, your ass will be electrocuted if you sit here.
And you are also stuck in a triangle room and look like an idiot. Apparently the Estral or Eurofurence gives you triangular labyrinths and you'll get electrocuted in the ass.
Yep.
I don't know why, but I love this convention.
Oh, Speaking of the Estral, I would like to take just... Was machst du? Much better!
Dude, that looks like Satan now. Thank you, whoever did that just now, because you've now made this floor blessed by Satan.
Oh, that was Silver Foxwolf. He's one of my oldest friends. I love you, Silver. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly.
I would like to take a moment to recognize the staff of the Estral Berlin, the most patient and tolerant people in all of Europe. Because they deal with this, and they still invite us back. That's dedication. Well, once again, Tien, I only seem to have 14 euros, and you've got... What? Oh...
Yeah, you cheapskate. Don't be underselling yourself.
Well, that is... that was...
You are rubbing it into the sake. It is now drunk money.
It's okay.
Dude, this is drunk money. This is for the bar tip now.
Basically, once the lights are gone and you guys are gone, we're going to lick this off the stage. This is too expensive. Get to it. Hi, we're back. Yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, apparently I only have 64 euros, and you've got a lot of green ones there.
I've been doing a lot of work with my hips lately, apparently. I don't know why, but apparently these babies of money have had even more babies of money.
So, if anyone else would like to, shall we say, cast their lot, to see if either I or my svelte, sexy YouTube naked star Tien Long is willing to wear these Speedos.
How did you get into my profile?
I have your password. You visited me, remember, for the wine stream?
You've learned how to Asian too much, unfortunately, now.
Du lait homo. Never say that to your grandmother if she's Cantonese. She will kill you.
As will I.
Oh, but you cannot.
Why is that?
Because... I got nothing, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, I have it.
What's that?
Do you want that first class upgrade for your trip back to Canada?
Can I plead the fifth in this country?
There's advantages to knowing Uncle Kage. That's the only one.
I'm almost out of... do we have any more bottles back there, by the way?
No.
Out.
Yes, actually, there's still some of the...
What is it?
Excuse us, ladies and gentlemen, conference. Excuse
He's
us.
having a senior moment. Excuse us.
Okay, wait, hang on. Here you go. There's this one, but you don't have a glass.
Oh, that's
we have...
That's the good scheisse.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I have learned when I have actually arrived in Berlin. And this is not my first Eurofurence, this is my second one now, but I still haven't learned pretty much a single lick of proper Deutsch whatsoever. The only Deutsch that I have learned is from this gentleman over here and what he has divulged to me, and another particular source which is known as Vorsitz English. Am I saying that right? Vorsitz English?
Vorsitz English.
Do the Dutch, not the Dutch, do the Deutsche folk know what Vorsitz English is? Vorsitz English is a book that is about the size of a matchbox, something about that size, and it essentially has everything that you need to know about what not to say in Germany.
And we say all of it.
Yes, pretty much. You see, because in America, And especially in the Western countries, we essentially like to learn the things we shouldn't say just so we can, create some levity, create some comedy wherever we go in the world. That's why whenever Uncle Kage goes to the bar, whenever I go to the bar, we usually begin with, Entschuldigen Fräulein, ich bin ein dummer Amerikaner, ich kann sprechen Englisch, ich bin ein Scheißer, Sie sind unsexy, did I say that right? I don't know.
Speaking of sexy,
yes?
We've come to the time, Tien. All of you have witnessed the money being put up here, and I would like to make sure that all of you are agreed which of us puts the Speedos on.
Hey, you put your zipper back on.
Or is it me? Let me do this again, excuse me. Is it Tianlong? Or is it me? But he has more donations.
Put it on. Put it on, 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 put it on.
Would you give me about 2 minutes, please?
I think we have done it. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is for the lemurs of Madagascar, one of the most noblest of charity causes that a celestial dragon has the honor of helping along. And all of you as well have been instrumental in making sure that these lemurs have a future and a home in their native habitats. And, well, again, Uncle Kage has gone off to relive his glory days, his golden days, by putting on his 17th century swimwear, and what's not 17th century? 17th century, how did I say 17th century? I thought that was like a buzzword or something. Oh, okay, well, we'll stick to modern era Berlin, when the wall was not around and all that, but he has gone to relive his glory days now, and remember every single moment that you see him in those Speedos. You think of those cute, fluffy lemurs. Think of their soft, fluffy little shells. Think of their curious, almost inquisitive-looking faces just staring at you, all so knowing, all so curious as to what your face feels like when they climb on it. And remember that old man in the Speedo is making enough... What? Do you want to see Uncle Kage in his old Speedos? It doesn't quite sound like they want Uncle Kage in his Speedos.
I said I'd put them on, I didn't say I'd show you!
You see, he has received legal training from Boozy Badger because he did put them... I can see him from where I am. He has put them on. But he did not say that he would show them on stage. Do you hear all those... Kage, do you hear all those lemurs out there? Do you hear the teardrops splashing on the dirt of Madagascar as they realize they'll never get that home that they were promised? Do you hear the sorrow of a species so innocent, so young and desperate for someone?
All right.
If I get another 500 euros, I'll open a lab coat.
Remember, he said, a button. You have to read between the lines. You don't know which button it might be.
Yes?
I think that's...
Oh, I missed one. Never mind.
Just make sure that your
You get that one free.
Wait, I think your fly is unzipped. You might want to check.
You know, the really embarrassing... Hi.
Oh, security.
Oh, that was €2. I'm sorry, that's not going to do enough. Yeah, hi. What can I do for you?
Oh,
If you got €500, we'll talk, boy.
you now know Uncle Kage's price to unbutton his buttons.
I thought you were getting taken away for a decent exposure.
I got nothing. That was good.
Close.
That was good. That was good.
So, it appears that we've come to the end of our show.
Oh, have we now? I thought...
Yes, we have. Our time is up. We have one of Eurofurrence's fine security gentlemen here. Would you be kind enough to take charge of all the money that Tien Long gathered?
I thought he was standing there as like a censor bar for the stage right, because no one there wants to see you, while everyone stage left has their eyes down burst.
And you know what the really embarrassing part is? Cheetah's mother and father are sitting in the front row. Cheetah's father's saying, and his mother's saying,
You do realize that your own sister and brother-in-law are also in the front row?
oh, she's seen it all. She changed me when I was a kid.
Cindy, this explains so much already.
And he's a doctor. He can see me very clinically.
I'm sure he has.
Don't put that glove on again. So, Mr. Tien Long, as we seem to be out of time, nothing else is going on at Eurofurence for the rest of the night.
No, most definitely
I'm
nothing.
just going to go to my room and, relax because there is no programming.
Hold on. I'm getting a voice in my head again. It's one of those moments.
He's
Senior
getting
moments.
voices in his head.
Senior moments. You get voices in your head that tell you stupid things.
What?
Oh, is that right? Oh, I did not know that. Apparently somewhere in this hotel, there is another
Thank you
show.
all, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this evening.
And you may now join Grandma
At the charity
Kage
show,
at
the
6
last
p.m.
charity show.
in the Estral Hall
That will be
A.
open
If you
Eurofurence
have
this year.
a ticket
Your
bought for
final
the
attempt to
Lemurs
give us
of
money.
Madagascar,
There will be no more charity shows.
go and throw more money at Grandma
Go
Kage
get
so you
dinner
may know
off-site
what
at a
those
different
speedos
restaurant.
look like on him.
And we will see you tomorrow when programming begins again. On behalf
You
of
know
my
his
colleagues,
price.
Fox
You
Award,
can all pay
and Tien Long and
together.
myself, and the Lemurs of
500
Madagascar.
euros and he loses the lab coat.
We thank you all very kindly. Good night. Bye. And we're leaving.
Oh,
If you
I'm
make me
still
fucking put this...
No, the stage lights are actually off. You see, the audience is leaving. You can come out without the lab coat now. I assure you there's nothing happening right now, you. There we are.
Security.
Oh my. Have you been working out your legs? Ooh.
It's in Astro A. There's an old woman who doesn't have a con badge.
Your calf's looking quite defined.